Hey YouTube, how you guys doing? It's Kyle here, and welcome to my solo queue carry rank up guide. So this video is all about the most effective way to rank up when playing solo. I can only give you advice on playing solo queue because that's all I play myself, and I feel like if I gave you advice on playing in a team like 3-man or 6-man, it wouldn't make too much sense. So I'm going to be splitting this video up into 3 different parts. The first part is going to talk about team composition, the second part is going to talk about leadership, and the third part will talk about individual skill. Hope you guys enjoy. Hope you learned something, and let's get started. Alright guys, so part 1 is team composition, and this is answering the question about who you should pick. It's often asked, okay, listen Kyle, what's the best character? Who's the best hero to carry the game with? I want to rank up, I want to do well, who should I learn? So I have 3 suggestions, I have 5 heroes in mind that I think that everyone should know to some extent, and I think that it's important to have a pool of 5 heroes that you can play. This includes 3 DPS, 1 tank, 1 support. The reason I'm telling you to choose a tank and a support and not just 5 DPS is because I think it's important that you also learn other roles aside from just DPS, especially if for some reason you can't play your favorite DPS. Like if I can't play McCree or Soldier, I need to be able to switch and be flexible or my team is fucked. Right, and that's just I don't want to fuck my team over. You need to be flexible, and sometimes you got to take one for the team and choose a lesser role that you don't like quite as much. With that being said, I suggest learning McCree, Soldier 76, Reaper, Roadhog, and Lucio. Now McCree, Soldier, and Reaper are extremely good carries. They are very powerful. I think that Soldier is great specifically in lower ranks, although you do see some people like myself using him in higher ranks as well. McCree right now, flavor of the month. He's nuts. His stun, his left click's insane, and also his right click, as we know, melts people up close. Reaper is extremely good for dealing with tanks. There's almost always going to be 2 tanks, especially in higher level play, and you need to be able to melt through them in order to engage the DPS and supports. And Reaper's also a great flanker and can be used to just disrupt the enemy team completely, especially, and his ult's insane. Roadhog, I think it transitions well for DPS players. I think that they can go from a DPS to a Roadhog pretty easily. His hook's pretty fucking broken, and he does a shitload of damage, and he's also squishy and can heal himself. I think his heal has to be one of the most underrated things in the game. It is absolutely incredible that he can heal 300 health in a second, right? It's nuts. Lucio as Zenyatta works. I think that Lucio is great though, especially if you can end up being an okay Lucio and your team needs one. I think it really helps. He's been, in the meta for quite some time now, and I just suggest learning at least 1 support. You could learn Zenyatta because he can do some damage as well. Alright guys, so part 2 is all about leadership and communication. I've found that communication has been key in almost all of my wins all the way up until top 500. There's absolutely no point where I thought to myself, wow, this would be better off if we didn't talk. Like, you just don't fucking say that. I know some people can win without talking. I know some teams win completely silently, right? No one says a word. And I know this is a problem for some people at lower ranks. But I think that, just kind of warming up to your team, saying hello in the beginning is a great way to encourage communication, and I suggest everyone does it. Just say, yo, what's up guys? It's what I do in every single game I play. I always say hello to people, and I think it helps, warm up the environment, gets people talking, and greatly increases the chances that there will be call-outs and communication. I think that almost any communication is better than none. This means even horrible callouts. They just mean like, yo, Reaper's up top, and you have no idea where. Is he like behind us, in front, to the sides? Like, where is he? But just saying something is, I think, better than saying nothing. Obviously being toxic. This game you're watching actually had one of the most toxic players I've ever played with. He didn't talk in this half, which is why I'm actually showing this. I wouldn't have showed it if he did because it was horrible. But with that being said, please don't be toxic to people. Next, I want to say you need to step up. If you want to be the carry and if you're truly determined to rank up, you need to be able to step up and be the shot caller. You need to be the leader, you need to be the guy making the callouts and the guy calling the strats. I think it's really important that you do this because I'm going to give an example. If you're playing Hanamura on attack and someone just says, rush in, okay, that's great, but where are we going to go? You need to be more specific. You need to say, okay, we're going to have a Lucio speed boost. We're going to rush left, right, or center. And you're going to choose one. And you need to stick to it. You need to make sure people stick to the goddamn strat. Because guess what? Rushing through the center sometimes on Hanamura can be amazing. You could just steamroll through them. They don't expect it. Things like that. So my advice is if you truly want to carry yourself to the top, step up, be the strat caller, and pick the right strategies. Doesn't mean they always have to be perfect and work out, but you need to be able to choose something that makes sense for the situations you're in, and that's something that you'll develop over time as you play more. Alright guys, part 3 is all about individual skill. In order to carry yourself to the top in solo queue, you have to rely on yourself and no one else. Don't rely on your team being good. You are the X factor. You are the shot caller. You are the one that is going to change the games. You need to be good. In order to do this, I highly suggest looking at Master Overwatch or Overbuff, looking at your statistics and comparing them to other people. It's going to give you a good grasp on where you stand, and I think it's a good reference point, especially when you're starting out. Say, okay, where am I? Okay, I'm here, and I need to improve on X, Y, and Z. Maybe it's aim. Maybe it's not dying as much. Maybe it's going out of position. Something, right? But you're going to figure it out eventually. I also think it's important to work on practicing your aim. I don't think you can be a good player with poor aim. So warming up, I know I just released a video on it. Warming up 5 to 10 minutes every day before you play your first game, it's going to help you a ton. Going into quick play and just practicing your aim, practicing tracking, practicing hitting your shots, and focusing accuracy. I think it's extremely important, and I think everyone should do it. I also think that you need to focus on getting better and taking every single loss as a learning experience. I do this after every single game I lose. I think for about 5 or 10 seconds, I say, okay, what could I have done differently to win this game? How could I have changed this game? Was I caught out of position at any point? Did I cost us anything? What did I do wrong? And I think of things like that. And I think if you do that after every game and you take all of the things I just said into your mind and into the way you play, I think you can carry yourself to the top over time, improve upon your skills, and I think you can 100% get to top 500 if you just stick to it. Alright guys, I want to wrap this up with a quick summary. Remember, part 1 was about team composition and who you should pick. I suggest 5 heroes, 3 DPS, 1 tank, 1 support. The DPS are what to carry you. The tank and support will help you fill roles. I suggest McCree, Soldier, Reaper, Roadhog, and Lucio. Part 2 is all about leadership and communication. Remember, almost any communication is better than none. I suggest stepping up and being a strat caller and the shot caller of the game, and also making good callouts and encouraging communication with your team is extremely important to almost every single win. Finally, part 3 is about individual skill. You have to be good. Master Overwatch, Overbuff, great sites to learn about how you can improve and where you're lacking. Work on practicing your aim and take every single loss as a learning experience and think about what you can do to get better and win those games. Remember guys, stay positive throughout this whole process and you will be able to grind yourself, if not to the top, very close. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all learned something. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, leave them down below. Take it easy, guys. Good luck getting the top 500, and I'll see you next time. Peace.